Hello, fellow meatheads. Well, I do call you meatheads because you are, Operation Flashpoint fanboys. So yeah, as well as I am. So today I'll be teaching everyone here watching this or anyone interested in Operation Flashpoint modding to retexturing units or retexturing overall. So yeah. It's not that hard, but it's easy. But let's get straight to the point. Your requirements are ARMA 3 tools, but I think ARMA 2 would work, but also text to view and Oxygen, they do work, and as well as Photoshop, but Paint.net will also work. It depends, but for me Photoshop was a lot better in my opinion. And then you would need a camo texture, which is this historical one. And what you would need also is here we go, units. I picked mine from VME, the 1979 mod, and what I do is this is how I get my units, the one I would retexture. It will take long, but it's not that. And also PBO Manager, and these are like I think it's from Mic Tools, but I think I could give a link to that specific PBO Manager. And here it is. Here's your unit. So what I'm going to do is retexture this. This is actually olive green, but what I can do is actually like put this camouflage to this specific unit. So what I'm going to do is compile. Alright, I have to remember this specific part. It's called two sleeve. And that's where it is. So what I'm going to do is I've selected two sleeve, and I'll open ARMA 3 tools, but you can also open text to view, but it doesn't work for me. Maybe there's some problems I've done in order to not make this properly work. So go to text to view and go to this. What you're gonna do is drag this here. That's the texture. So here it is. And then type .png. Bada bing, bada boom. I'll show you this room. Okay, look at that. That's our texture. This is the texture of the arm, the sleeve. That's the texture. So here we'll open Photoshop or Paint.net, whatever you're using. But I'll also provide the link to the archive.org of the Photoshop, free Photoshop app, which is not a crack, by the way. So just wait for it to open. And that's where it is. So okay, I'll get the camouflage over here and paste it over there. You see, if you are familiar with ARMA 3 modding, like retexturing, it also applies to this, to Operation Flashpoint. So to rasterize, etc., yes, blah blah blah, must be rasterized. And what you're gonna do is like select this and pretend that you're gonna paint bucket it, but you're not. But just go with OK. If it says just go with OK, just don't paint this. Don't paint this, right? And go back to this specific part. And then what we have here is very important. So opacity. See? Look at what the texture did. It integrates there. But also you could also do is screen. But screen is a little too bright, but we could just that is really bright, but it depends. You can also use screen. If you're using like textures that are very dark, just use screen. But I would prefer is like have opacity to number 2 and get rid of the screen. Just go to normal. And then probably depending on you, I would desaturate. So how to desaturate this is Control Shift U. Yep, that's how you desaturate the texture. The first layer. I have to keep in mind the layer should be in order. So if the layer is not in order, this will happen. Nothing. So yeah, so the first layer, this is the woodland camo. So you need this layer to be at the top of the layer, the camo itself. I mean the uniform should be there. So you have to keep in mind this area, right? It should be this order. So after that, go to export and replace this texture. And look what you have now. Look. It's great. You have your camouflage texture. And what's the best part is, the reason why you need paint.net is to, I'll show you. So you open paint.net and then go to save as to TGA. Save as TGA. But before you have like this overall, you have to select like bit depth, because for me it always auto detects. So just go to 32-bit. You have to like have this option, have this. Keep in mind, have that option. So okay, go to PAA tool. I'll give you the link to PAA tool. It's an all-in-one already. And here, if it'll automatically save as a PAA, but you can also do is PAC, like what we did with the PNG conversion, like that. But it depends on you, so I'll just save one for me as PAA. But considering that we have to replace the texture, it's PAC. It applies. So yeah. So after that, cut this. Alright, cut this. Control X and then Control V. Replace. Here you go. That's it. So I'll do the rest. I'll do everything and I'll show you what it looks like. So see you. So we've created our we successfully created our replacer unit or replace textures, but here I am actually showing you an alternative way. How about creating a unit rather than replacing the texture? You just created a unit overall. So we've successfully done that. So we can have like, you know, one is camouflage and the one is have texture, camouflage texture. So yeah. So what I'm going to do is create a new folder, rename it like, for example, VME soldier. So, make sure the name is short because it will have issues. So like camo. And for example, if you had like textures replace, you have to remember your texture names. So for me, the textures I've created for the unit to look like what it is actually like these names. Like that. And copy and there. Here it is. And create a new folder, like at least one letter like T for texture, stuff like that, and move it here. That's a texture. So in order to have a unit, get a unit itself by copy and pasting to this specific unit folder. Here it is, VME Banshang, and open it. Forget about that. you have to do is select this and these, but in order to like select and then not to like, you have to do is control and drag and select. That's all. But you have to be careful, because if you just drag and do this, you'll have a harder time. So what I'm going to do is control and select and drag this specific pixel here, and go to faces, face properties, and what you see, do you remember this? This is taking a camouflage. This is taking the texture from this original from the original. We're not taking from a new unit. So what we're going to do is get this. You have to do is press F2, Control C, and then Control paste it there. Copy and paste, make it type, but this is a lot easier. And then remember this folder we created for the texture is, you have to do this and T. That's it. That's how you do. So rinse and repeat, like what I've told you. Here I'm gonna show you, like this specific selection, this specific pixel, select that, and face properties, and look at that. We have some issues. Look at when we selected, like for example this, it goes like 3 dots. Yeah. So here's the simple easy thing. Select the same, texture, the same faces, and like shift and skip these and shift and click and go filter by. That's easy. You don't have to like control and one by one them, right? You don't have to do that, and do what we did earlier. This, boom, again. But you have to scroll down, because this is not the only texture. You have this also this also could be more. But if you had issues like that, don't forget to like have the non-highlighted ones. So do this, filter by, and you have all of the non-highlighted ones. So it's a lot easier. Look at that. It's easy. And also, I think it also involves this. Yes. Nope. We still have the non-replaced original texture. So what we're gonna do is the same thing. Renaming them. Oops. Like I said, you gotta have more. Nope. Still having same issue. But you can also do is select this and go all the way down. Probably skip that one. And do this. Look at that. But if you just have like, oh yeah, I'll just go ahead and do whatever I want and go this, you'll have issues. So the texture will look ugly. It won't work. It'll look shit. So what you're gonna do is skip this and go way further and do this. Rename. Here we go. Renaming again. And for this, look at this. We have another one. BO. I hope it doesn't stand for body odor. And do this. I forgot this texture, by the way. This latent texture, I think. Do this again. And do this. Wait. Look at this. It's very complicated. Maybe we could do the filter by. Look at that. Filter by works very well. So do that again. Yes, it works. And look at the hat. What we're gonna do with the hat again is do the same thing. It's directed to the unit, to the specific unit, not the replaced. So do that again. Oops, I did a mistake. Yes, here. Look at that. Look at that. We've replaced all, if not nearly all, the textures that we want to replace. So after that, Control S. That's to save automatically, but you could also do save as, rename it like VME Banshang, woodland, camo, etc. It depends on you. You can save, go ahead and save, but for me, I think it will not be for my option. But I could also do it here too. You could also like woodland soldier, etc. like that. But I could also make woodland and soldier, something like that. It's easier. Oops. So yeah, it's easy. So the next part is configurations. You can actually steal and just rework it, redoing it, redunning it, whatever word. So you can find in one of these config. But that is so difficult. Look at that, it's very difficult. Look at that, it's very difficult. But I'll get one. I'll get a very easy one. So stay tuned. Well, I'm back. I've found a CFG, a config file. Here we are. So first things first, what I'm going to do is like ignore these. You can do them after. Is get the name of this, like press F4, Control C, and then Control V at this part, the CFG models. CFG models, so what it does is that there's some scripts, there's some stuff, and it would apply to the mod. I'm not very familiar with it. I was only said by someone else. And CFG patches. We don't want any conflict errors with any other CFGs. What we're gonna do is VME soldier with camo. So double check like other PBO files in our CFG just to make sure that you don't have any conflict issues. So yeah, look at that. This is one of my ARMA mods. So let's ignore these. Let's just ignore this. Ignore. Erase. Let's erase these. So I'll be erasing these. So here we go. So first step is creating a class, a unit, a CFG vehicles unit. So I'll be doing is renaming this to VME Camo Man, and giving a simple name like PLA Soldier 1979, and that's it. The vehicle class, that's the name of some faction, like not overall the faction, specific unit, like unit groups like that. So display name, that's the unit name itself, not the unit group, etc. So I'll give it infantry. Just give it a name like soldier or infantry, like that. Like give it any name you want, like a unit group, like anything. So I'll give it a soldier, and replace the weapons. In some CFGs you may get your weapons pre-existing in the CFG. So what I'll do is like go to this PBO, and I think there's some CFGs, but there's some unit CFGs, like for example here, and look for a pre-existing unit, soldier, etc. in CFG vehicles. So yeah, this is the CFG vehicles, and what you're gonna do is go to weapons and copy and paste. Or maybe I am wrong here. This is the VTE. It's wrong. It's the VTE. Give me a sec. Here we go. So scroll down, go to CFG vehicles. You can also go to CFG weapons. It's a lot easier because in CFG you can actually find more accurate about the ammunition, etc. But also you can go to CFG soldiers, or CFG vehicles. So go down below, but you can also like but if you are tired of scrolling, here's what you can do: Control F and go to CFG vehicles, and there you go. You can actually find. So keep in mind that you have to find this part, this weapons, and copy and paste. Simple as that, my friends. So after that, do this. The magazines. Don't forget the magazines. Magazines, and it could be grenades too. I can't find the grenade. I think hand grenade. Hand grenade. So yeah, weapons loadout. We've already done that, but the model itself, the specific unit. So what you're gonna do is just like what we did with the textures, is F2, Control C, and at the model, replace that with VME Banshang or Banshong, whatever. I don't speak Mandarin. So here you go. That's it. So I'll be showing you this. Oh yeah, I forgot. I'll be removing this. You don't need these anymore. You don't need this at all. So what I'm gonna do is there. I'll show you what it looks like. And I also forgot, unfortunately, is you have to enter this scope. You have to have scope 2 in order to have it function and work and show at the game. And also you have to have side 2 or 3. So it's going to be a little complicated for people. If you're going to have side 0, this Chinese soldier will be at the Soviet side. But since this is 1970s and Sino-Soviet split happened, we can have 2, because that's the FIA, so it could attack both Americans and the Soviets. So yeah, that's how I forgot. I'm sorry. Here we go. So I've opened Operation Flashpoint, and you have to keep in mind, before opening, you have to open your mod by going to properties and copy and paste this. Okay, keep in mind you have to remember this, and go to your Steam directory and copy and paste the mod itself to this, like I did. Look at that, I copy and pasted it. So here it goes. So that's how to make your mod work. So go to Desert Island, or any map works, by the way. And look at that. Look what we did. Look who it is. It's a unit. Okay, there are some mistakes here, but since you're watching this, I hope you spot my mistakes and do better than what I do. So here it is. We've successfully retextured a unit. So we created a unit specifically and replaced it at first, but we can make a unit like this. So I hope people learn my mistakes and do better than what I do. So yeah, see you guys. Whatever your mods you guys gonna make, I hope I could get to play it. So yeah, have fun.